Alright, guys. Moving on to The Strangers. This is a movie that preys on your insecurities. You know, especially if you watch horror movies alone, as I do, and you live alone, as I do. And I watched the theatrical version because of time constraints. I gotta have the shortest version. Before I start explaining, let me tell you about the first time I watched this. It was on DVD. I rented it. And it was like a Saturday afternoon, but it was a gloomy day outside, much like today is with night now. It was a gloomy day. And I had just taken the trash out before I started the movie because I wanted no distractions. The trash out, I had my lunch with me, and all that stuff. Put it on, started watching it. As soon as Mr. Baghead here, as I call him, showed up, and it's like very subtle. I'm sitting there watching it, and he's just in the background there. It's like, whoa. I got up, went to my front door, went to my door. I only have one door. Went to my door, my apartment door, locked it, like immediately. It's that kind of movie that gets you, like, it has you looking around like, oh my God, And they're on a block where there was like no one else. Of course, it's like 3 a.m. or whatever it was. It was after midnight, I know that this movie takes place. So, supposedly it's based on a true story or inspired by true events. Like the Manson killings, I think. Except for the fact that they have cell phones, so it can't be that far back. Didn't the Manson killings take place in the 70s or 80s, one of the two? Or even the 60s, I think. So they didn't have cell phones back then. So I don't know how that works. But, because that 69, right? That new movie came out, the Tarantino one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Wasn't that like based on the Manson killings too? So I don't know. But I haven't seen it. I like Pulp Fiction, but I haven't seen too many Tarantino movies to speak of. So anyway, let's just talk about The Strangers now. Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman play a couple. This is the story now. Play a couple called Kristen and James. And after something went down at a party they were at, they come back to this house. And James was going to propose to her. I don't even know if they explain what it was that caused them to have an argument. Or if he just... I hear things where they say that, like when I read Wikipedia stuff, they say he proposed and she said no. But they come back to the house and it's all set up for something special like a proposal or something. So, did he set up this house for something special but didn't propose there? Maybe that's why she said no. I don't know, it's a little confusing. But while they're in the house, these 3 strangers show up and torment them. Now, before I get to the good and the bad, I have a bit of a theory that, of course, isn't true. But when I first watched it, I had thought that this was James. This is going to turn out to be James. When everything was revealed at the end, that's going to be James. Because while maybe James is unstable. Because while the one, I think it was a Dollface, I think, the blonde one shows up and asks if Tamara is home. And they say no, but that could have been the start of it. Like like maybe he proposed before they got there. She said no, and then when Kristen wasn't around or she would use the bathroom before they left or something, he called the other 2 friends and said, "Hey, she told me no. Let's kill this bitch." Something like that. It was an idea. I've seen motives in movies far worse than that, right? So, and this is not what happens in the movie at all. it's just my theory right now, all right? It's just my little theory I wanted to get out there that I had, all right? So, my idea is when he leaves to go get the cigarettes, you know, when she shows up and knocks on the door, that signals him, because right after that happens, he leaves to go get the cigarettes, right? Even though she says, I'm out of cigarettes, so he goes to leave. So maybe her knocking on the door signaled for him to leave and get the costume on and then show up. Because think about this. They got in the house so easily. And what's the easy way to get in the house? If you already had the keys, right? It was perfectly set up for a twist that never happened. Because you don't know who these people are. And they don't really have any true motive for doing this other than you were at home. You know? It's just, it would have been a nice twist if at the end, and sure, at the beginning of the movie, it's one of those things where you see these children come to the house. They make a phone call to like the police or something, and you see a male dead body, James's dead body, and you see her. Well, then you think, okay, well, it can't be him because he's dead. Well, that's another part of the theory. What if he, you know, in all this, had a change of heart because he still loves her and decided, no, we're not doing this anymore, and the other two killed him, you know, and then went after her. Because he has two real psychopaths, and he didn't know they were that psychopathic. It's just, you know, and well, I do like this movie. I'm not saying anything bad about it like that, but wouldn't that be an interesting way to go with the film? I'm just saying, let me know in the comments, because I came up with that, you know, before I went to sit down. I was sitting there watching it, and I was thinking, you know, that would be a pretty decent twist, you know? Anyway, let's talk about the actual film. They're home alone, you know, like I said. James goes to get cigarettes, and then, because like I said, I'm going back to my theory now. He leaves, right? Then the blonde girl comes back, and she gets the door open, and then James, I think they show the sackhead guy, right? And then after the door opens, and she runs, she locks it again, and then she runs back into the house. She runs into the bedroom, right? Who's the next to show up? But James, right? That's why I thought at first, when I was first time I watched this, I'm like, nah, he's in on it. He's got to be in on it, because how the hell that one girl was at the door, and then he shows up. And that's a little iffy to me, but he was not involved in it at all. Which, you know, like I said, that'd be a pretty good idea to do. But then back to the actual movie now. I get into my theories and everything. Okay, so after James comes back, there's a bunch of hiding. It's a slow burner. So if you're not into slow burner movies, then it's not for you. But I you know, watch the second one. You don't even need to have seen the first one, because no characters from the first one are in it. No, that's not a spoiler, because I'm going to tell you in the end, but, like, no characters from the first film in it, despite the fact that Liv Tyler was supposed to come back and didn't. But, there's, you know, it's really not connected to the first one at all, other than the same three strangers, probably different actors this time. But you could watch that one on its own merit and not even have to watch this one. That's what I'm saying. They're not really connected to where you have to watch this one to watch the other one. I'm just kind of doing this for the review thing. So, but yeah. Like I said, slow burner, and there's really only three other characters beside the three strangers, and you know, Kristen, James, and James's friend Mike, who's played by Glenn Howerton Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And so, I think, if I remember correctly, James called him, and he tries to call James back, but the strangers destroyed their phones. So, he shows up at the house, and when he there's music playing on the record player, and he's sneaking around trying to figure out what's going on. He goes around the corner of the bedroom and BAM! BAM! Gets shot by the shotgun being held by James because they thought it was one of the strangers. And he comes to the realization that he killed his best friend. And it's like, oh my God. And that's one of the good things that, even though he shoots, it still affects him. It's like, I shot him. Oh, but it's not one. It affects him. He's like, that's my best friend. I just shot him. And I like the slow. Even though I like the second one too, but two different. They give me two different sets of people too. But like, it's the suspense that gets you. Like, well, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna go on? Are they gonna die? Are they gonna live? What's going on? And it's good. It's great. And but yeah, the only negative I think I have is the fact that they put that little thing at the beginning of it that shows you specifically what's going to happen. You know that James is going to die. You know that Kristen's going to survive, even though, or you think you know what's going to happen because it shows that they're both dead. But then at the end, Kristen comes back, rah, scream. And I think the original, if it didn't take 10 years for this movie to come out, almost 10 years, I think maybe the original would have been like Halloween 2 style, where where she was in the hospital and they showed up, you know what I mean? But they didn't do that, and she's not even a cameo in the second one, which even though I don't like that. Although I suspect if they did have her in a cameo, it would have been at the beginning and she would have been killed off right away. So that wouldn't have been much of anything. But all in all, guys, this gets a 7 from me. I really enjoy this movie. It's a slow burn. The next one is not. The action-packed 80s nostalgia in the next one. So look forward to that review. What are your thoughts on The Strangers? Do you like this one better than the second one? The second one better than this one? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of my theory? Let me know about that. Would it have been a good idea to do it the way that I came up with? Let me know. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, love, peace, and chicken grease.